But in terms of this game, man, Steelers taking care of business 24-21, international Dublin action. I thought that there were plenty of players that stood out in a positive manner, right? When we, talk about from an offensive standpoint, to me, it's like I had to start with the offensive line. And the biggest reason was that is because they've been the ones that have been criticized the absolute most. Peeling back the curtain, the way that I typically, even when we're coming into a show, right, getting ready to talk about stuff, debate it, or even present arguments to you guys, right? And then we was like, yo, man, comment back, man, let me know what's up. I'm typically always trying to make sure it's balanced, right? If, man, we are heavily critical of people, it's like, all right, well, why? And is it just? Okay, cool. But then I also spin the block and it's like, okay, when those same people that were heavily critical of actually produce, well, I try to make sure that I'm just as loud with the praise as I am with the criticism. And, that's kind of like my approach with it, or at least my mindset, because I think that how my man Thanos says it, it's perfect balance, right? It's perfect balance. I can't just only focus on what you did well and not what you struggle with. But if I only focus on what you struggle with and never focus on the positive, it's like, that's not fair and just either. So I feel real Thanos like at times. I definitely do. But to me, O-line, how do I not start there? I mean, shoot, let's talk about it, right? You heard me when we did victory formation, right? Me and Tanisha, one of the keys of the game that I brought up, I said, man, from a pass blocking standpoint, they have a player who's 12 and a half sacks back-to-back seasons, man. The dude, to me, that is a bona fide pass rusher by the name of Jonathan Grenard. And he is ultimately going to be matched up with Broderick Jones, who we said, yeah, this dude has been struggling at times with higher end or higher level pass rushers. We spoke about how the rest of the group at times had us a little bit concerned. We talked about the run blocking element and why our rushing attack was so abysmal at times, right? 3 games in, we hadn't had a 100-yard rusher at any point in time. Heck, we talked about how Broderick at sometimes isn't even playable. We even focused on Pat Meyer, right? How many times we've seen Pat Meyer's name as why you should be firing him because of Broderick, right? Or because it's the O-line in general. You got to fire Pat Meyer, right? And it's like, all right, cool. But what is the conversation right now, right? Because to me, it's like, man, we can feel like all that is true, but at the same time, those dudes in the offensive line put on a heck of a performance, run blocking and pass blocking. Heck, when you look at just the statistical element of it, right? And we know, hey, man, Vikings have some bumps and bruises on the offensive line. Do we care about that, though? No, because when we have bumps and bruises, does anybody care about that? No. So whoever's out there, your job is to be a professional, right? Next man up. But just for, context of why I'm starting it out praising the O-line, why I'm starting it out talking about Pat Meyer, because obviously both O-line, Pat Meyer, Broderick as his own entity, have been under fire every single game. Even when we bring up some of the things that they do well, it's like, no. Bad. So it's like, all right, just in this game alone, though, our offensive line allowed 2 sacks, right? And allowed Aaron Rodgers to get hit 3 times. Official statistics. You look at that Vikings offensive line. 6 sacks allowed, 14 QB hits. Big difference. Now, I know I'm not the only one that at times look this offensive line and be like, hey, bro, can we rely on them? Can we depend on them? Do we feel like this is a group that we can just, hey, man, set it and forget it? Next week, it's guaranteed they're nice. We got that was guaranteed they're nice. Nah, we don't feel like that. We don't look at our offensive line with the same level of confidence and trust that we look at Aaron Rodgers, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, DK Metcalf. But we criticize them to a level that we almost expect that level of production and consistency from them. So it's like, man, when they actually show up and actually produce, it's like, come on, baby. We got to acknowledge that. That looked good to me, man. That had me excited. Seeing them be able to run block the way that they did, man, I forgot who it was in the comment section was like, yo, I need an O-line film breakdown. I said, trust me, baby. I got you, player. I got you. And sure enough, they gave me plenty of stuff to talk about in terms of the film review that will be happening this week. But when you talk about the way that they were able to win in the trenches, that is what we need. You look at how much more open the offense felt at times, and there were still parts where we're like, yeah, man, we could still be better here, right? The 2 4th down situations at the end of the game, we're going to talk about those, right? But as a whole, it's like, man, this O-line won the line of scrimmage. Kenneth Gainwell had, was it 5 yards per play, rushing that rock. It's like, yeah. You talk about the usage of Darnell Washington, right? I know. Arthur Smith, right? At times we won't really love him all the way, but it's like, yeah, when they make the adjustments, man, acknowledge that. Darnell Washington, you look at how much he played, and not just how much he played, look at how intentional they were about where they played him. 11 personnel or 12 personnel, but that second tight end isn't a tight end, it's Spencer Anderson. And we're actually running behind these big dudes. And Darnell was kicking some booty at the point of attack blocking. We always say, man, tight ends versus D ends is the marquee matchup for running the ball when you're playing against a 4-3 defense. Because typically those D ends murder them tight ends on a regular basis. But when you actually have a tight end that could win that C gap, that D gap area, it opens up so much more what you want to do running versus a 4-3 team. And it was good to actually see that happen. Heck, Gainwell wasn't even getting touched in the backfield. How many times have we watched Najee, Jalen Warren over the past 2 to 3 years? And it's like, yo, they got to make dudes miss in the backfield before they can even gain a yard. That wasn't the case for Kenneth Gainwell. Heck, even when Caleb Johnson came in there, it was like, yo, good to see the young fella get a redemption, right? Hey, you ain't put the ball on the ground. It's a great day. It's a great day. You look better in this game than you did last game. That's all I need to see. Step in the right direction, baby. Love that. Love that. But the way that this O-line was run blocking, and then you turn around and watch them pass block. You watch how they was handling it, giving Rodgers time, right? We talk about Rodgers hitting some of them throws like, yo, O-line got to give him that time, baby. But I was so impressed with that part. And because of the way that the Vikings were talked about defense, I mean, as a whole, right? Offense and defense, we know they were talked about. But just focusing on their defense. Brian Flores and company, this was a game that a lot of people were looking at this Vikings defense as, oh my God, what are we going to do? How are we even going to score, let alone score? How are we going to keep the ball from being turned over? Because you saw what they did to Cincinnati, right? And it's like, yeah, context matters though. Style of game matter. Heck, our players matter. Aaron Rodgers is our quarterback, right? That matters. So I thought that initially was something that I was really impressed with, man, really excited about. So shout out to O-line, Broderick, right? Shout out to them dudes, Pat Meyer and company, doing what they needed to do to get those dudes ready, and not just being ready, but actually executing in the game. Because how many times can we have a great plan in place and that plan doesn't get executed because somebody messes up, right? In fact, we were watching, and who ended up making the self-inflicted wounds? It was the Vikings. Delay of games, right? Legal procedures, dudes. Now it's like, yo, y'all got a whole bunch of like just little stuff popping up in this game. Whereas on the flip side, we were the more clean team. We were the team that didn't make those errors. We were also the team that didn't have them critical turnovers. Now it kind of got weird that one Aaron Rodgers scramble, get the first down, fumble it, Broderick pick it up. I'm like, yo, shout out to Broderick as well for that one, for the hustle. Shout out to Rodgers acting like he knew it the whole time. Yeah, I'm just like, hey, bro, I don't know how that works, but shout out. We feeling lucky. All right, we're feeling good. We should have known too that was going to be a good day. All right, when that first happened, then we obviously had the Ramsey. Ooh, those gonna be a touchdown, get called back. But it was like, yo, it just felt like our day. It's certain things just going the right way. So I do like that part, right? We talk about DK Metcalf. Shoot, we actually intentionally targeted him, made sure that we fed him, and did he deliver? I mean, you talk about his most explosive day in the black and gold. That's what you wanted to see. We didn't feel as if, man, they got Jordan Addison, they got Justin Jefferson, man, we have zero over here. No. When DK took that slant 80, we was like, all right, what's up? Oh, y'all thought y'all was the only one? And that's 80 on a Brian Flores defense. I know Flo, like, and I rocks with Flo. Like, I love what he does, defensive mind. But it's like, yeah, we talk about the difference of philosophies, right? Still is a little bit more vanilla. It's a little bit more simplistic, but you don't have as many blown assignments. We talk about when you do a lot, right? Super complex at times, you can mess up. You can have a blown call. And you look on that 80-yard screen, or that 80-yard slant, it's like, yo, he blowing a basic coverage. It's a basic, it's just, hey, you vertical hook, man. What are you doing? But that's a part of it. That's the name of this game. And for us to be able to take advantage of it, that's also the beautiful part of that thing, man. But shout out to DK Metcalf, man, the way that he was playing. Shoot, from there, like I said, man, I briefly mentioned Darnell because he was an extension in that run game where he was blocking. But shoot, we even got him get another pass, man. Get another catch. the more we evolve Darnell Washington in his role offensively, the harder it is on these defenses to scheme us, man. Because we still have a little bit of a tendency, right? When it's like, all right, Darnell, more run play action pass, but he's typically not used as a receiver. We say, well, movers out there, it could be best of both, but more than likely they throwing it or running away from him. Janu, hey man, he's probably getting the ball. That's a ball guy, right? Line of scrimmage, but he's ball guy. So those are still some of the tendencies with those guys, some of the tells, so to speak. But with them starting to throw it more and more to Darnell Washington and him actually producing as well, whether we're talking touchdown catch, defensive PI he's drawn, was it explosive catch he had this game? These are all the things that make him more and more of a problem to deal with and game plan around, man, as a defensive dude. And that's what you want to see more of. So I liked all of that. I thought Gainwell ran his tail off, man. Like when you get an opportunity, make it look like that. Take full advantage of it. So now, whenever Jaylen Warren does return, because he was a late scratch, I was all kind of nervous. I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous too. I'm like, hey, bro, what does this running game look like? Because on tape, the Vikings are really good, or at least they have been playing really good, defensively, and especially on first downs, man. But O-line stepped up. O-line blocking the way that they did, that took a lot of that pressure off this running game. And then you saw Gainwell shine. Look really good out there. His first multi-touchdown rushing game as well, man. So it was definitely good to see that for him. But I definitely like I said, those are the offensive guys that kind of stood out to me. Now, defensively, I got to start with Keanu Benton, man. I've been critical of Keanu Benton at times, right? And you heard me how I let it off, right? It's like, yo, whoever I be super loud on, I'm also gonna make sure I give you praise on that level as well when it's warranted. And when you watch how Keanu Benton was playing yesterday, oh, for sure it was warranted. Versus the run, he was an animal. Versus the pass, they couldn't block him. I don't care. Oh, man, there's the backup in there. Good, make it look like a backup. You know what my man RIP to Tunch Ilkin, he used to say, if you can't beat the stiff, you are a stiff. Right? If you can't beat that dude and make it look like that, then yeah, you a part of the issue, baby. So nah. And the other part is they don't ask how, they ask how many. So when you're running up them tackles, them sacks, and all that other production, who cares who it was against? If they are on the NFL field in a regular season game, they are legit enough. And from there, man, you take advantage of it and you do what you're supposed to do, because you know how it is on the flip side. When teams have better matchups against us, we don't get that level of grace. We don't get that level of, oh man, just give it a pass because of this. Nah, we be on these dudes. So when I look at Keanu taking full advantage, I loved what I saw there, man. But then from there, I would also be remiss if I don't talk about TJ Watt. TJ said, don't worry about me, man. I could take my game international as well. Getting picks, sacks, tackles, TFLs, always being explosive, just energy, lightning rod type of player. That's what you want to see from your stars, right? Cam Hayward also thought was impressive out there. The other one too, sneaky in them trenches. It wasn't as loud in terms of the stats, but watching the game, watching the tape, watching it back, Derek Harmon continues to flash versus run and pass. Derek Harmon, man, shout out to him. 2 weeks in, man, I left that watching that game, man, like, yo, I like what we got in 99. I think that if he can stay healthy, he can be really good for us, man, because he understands what he's doing. You can tell he was coached well in college. Shout out to Dan Lannon, right? You could definitely tell, though. It's like, man, the way that this dude, how he on tape shows consistent pad level, consistent hand placement, consistent effort. Those are the signs. That's what you want to see. And when you can tap that in with a Derek Harmon body type and athleticism, that's when you get those special players, the Cam Haywards of the world. You got to have the work ethic, the mindset, and that God-given, hey, man, y'all don't have this. Like, that was always my thing. I was like, man, if I just had that God-given 6'4", 260 with everything else, oh, bro, I feel great. We just ain't had a 6'4", 260. You feel me? Some people got that. Derek Harmon, he got that. He got touched by God. All right? But it's like you watch his hand usage. I'm like, yo, he is going to be really good for us, man. If he can stay healthy, you watch how he's pushing Cam. You watch how Cam is teaching him. They play off of each other well. They play off each other really well. And I do anticipate his role expanding also, especially coming out the bye week. The more opportunities that they get to see healthy Derek Harmon, the harder it's going to be for them to take him off the field. As long as he can keep his cardio up, just like Cam Hayward, he'll play even more snaps, man, and we're going to feel dang good about him. But I was really, once again, impressed with Derek Harmon, man, because of what he's doing, hopping on a moving train like that, man. We know second game out, but that's going to be a player for us, man. All right, for sure it's going to be a player. I thought that my man Nick Herbig continued to show. Remember, in one of the matchups, we said, yo, Christian Darrisaw, former first-round draft pick, just came back the week prior to that versus the Bengals, but it really helped show up their offensive line, so to speak. But we also know that, or sort to speak, right? But either way, with that, it's like, dude, when you watch, Nick Herbig have to create pressure, it's like, man, you're going against a left tackle that's a dog, right? In terms of Christian Darrisaw, the only way that you're going to ever get in the conversation of being better than Alex Highsmith is if you can beat those type of tackles with consistency, not just versus the pass, but also versus the run. I thought Herbig looked good. I thought Herbig played really well versus the run and the pass. We obviously know the sack that he had. I thought that he also created a lot of pressure also from that edge, Jack Sawyer included. But Herbig, for sure, he was in his bag once again. And I just think the more opportunities that he gets, the harder it's going to be for them to completely take him back out of this role right here, because it's flashing. And it's not just flashing, it's like loud flashing. It's loud production. That stands out, man. And like I said, man, when you're doing that type of stuff, it just has you reassessing. But the beautiful thing is we do have a lot of pass rushers in that room. And you would much rather have, an abundance of those guys than a shortage. All right. When you got that shortage, we over here like, yo, can anybody rush the passer? Can we create pressure somehow, some way? Right now, it's like, all right, we deep over there, bro. We got guys. We got guys. Now, I know some of y'all might look at that as, hey, now we got trade bait. But I actually think that could be on the other side of the ball. All right. We ain't getting there just yet. I think that's on the other side. I think that's offense. We got some trade bait over there. All right. But to me, man, Herbig is making a strong case, man, to, even when Highsmith come back, it's like, hey, bro, we 50-50 this thing, because Herbig is looking good. Now, obviously, when we talk about, the sample size, it is still smaller in comparison to the years of success and production that we've seen from Alex Highsmith. But at the same time, when we are living in the now as well, it's like we are actively seeing Nick Herbig produce, make splash plays, while the other guy, in terms of Highsmith, is injured. So it's important for Highsmith to know that, yeah, man, it's not fair to lose a role or have a role be diminished while you're hurt. But when a guy's playing like how he is playing, it just makes it very, very challenging, man. So if you're Alex Highsmith, man, get your butt back out there in a hurry. All right. Stop playing around, fix it, get healthy, and let's roll. Because young boy is cooking right now. Young boy making it loud. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Herbig is making it loud. I'm like, Herbig, you did that to that one? I know what you did to the one before that, but you did that one too. I'm over here like, all right, now what's Cleveland looking like? Because if I don't see you about the Cleveland and he do it again, I'm like, all right, bro. Just hey, woof. Yeah. So, as a fan of both players, all right, get healthy. Get out there. Pretty please. Now, some other dudes that I thought stood out defensively. How good did it feel to see Deshon Elliott? Did anybody else feel the presence of Deshon Elliott being back out there? Or was I the only one? If I'm not the only one that felt the Deshon Elliott impact, y'all let me know by hitting that like button, subscribing, and also dropping in the comment section, your thoughts on Deshon Elliott. Because I was once again impressed by Deshon Elliott. So I'm going to give y'all a second to let me know your thoughts on that real quick. I'm going to take a sip. I'm on that Glacier Freeze again today. All right, shout out to the Glacier Freeze. I got to hydrate, man. It was a long weekend, man. I lived it up. I was on alumni status. Yeah, all right. So the things that I've done to myself over these past couple days, I got to get back right. All right. And that travel is tough. But let's see. Okay. I'm seeing what I want to see right here, baby. Doug D says, yo, Elliott is a beast. Facto. Elliott was fire. Shout out to Javon Curry. You better believe it. Mike Hood. He says, yo, Elliott is a very important piece to our defense. 1,000%, man. I'm glad that y'all are saying it, because if I say it all the time, people tell me I'm too biased because I played. It's like, cool. As long as y'all said that, y'all say it. All right. Michael G says Herbig, Highsmith, and Watt bringing the law to the league. I like how you did that right there, baby. But going back to my man Deshon Elliott, defense says, yo, one word: physicality. And I like that one word too. It's kind of long. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to that one, man. Shout out, baby. Oh, Elliott is him. Shout out to Cookie Monster. Elliott was a dog. Shout out. And then, of course, Tito. Elliott is a difference maker for sure on our defense. That's one of the biggest things for me, man. When I look at Deshon Elliott, the things that stand out to me the most are the fact that he's a knockback tackler, right? He's not a dude that is going to, allow you to, oh man, look at these yards at the contact, man. He ran through such and such. No, not with Elliott, man. When Elliott hit these people, man, they are falling backwards. But then you also see the ability to go be a ball hawk, right? He obviously gets the first interception, beautiful disguise, okay? Showing high, then right at the last second, inserting into that hook. And then from there, yeah, it doesn't matter, who the quarterback is. If he's confused and he has a little bit of pressure, yeah, he hit you in the face with it. And we saw that. The same way we were looking at Aaron Rodgers hit Robert Spillane in the face with it, right? A week ago. We're like, dang, how you do that? It's the exact same thing. It's like, yo, you give them a little bit of pressure, confuse them a little bit just for a second. Yo, they got the ball in their hands. When they make mistakes, it's turnovers. That's the difference. We try to make sure our guys don't make mistakes at all in that position. But when they make mistakes, it's turnovers. So to see Deshon Elliott disguise the way that he did pre-snap and then insert post-snap and then actually make the play. Now I'm pissed because he dropped the second one and he knows he's upset about dropping the second one too. And I'm talking about at the end of the game, fourth quarter. Yeah. The Carson Wentz 4th and 18 throw. And I'm like, bro, hit you right in your hands. You're supposed to get that one. We need all of them. We can't leave none of them. You know the drill. Get the picks. Then we in Paris Fashion Week and off season. Come on, man. So for me, it was like, dude, all of those things are how Deshon Elliott impacts the game. When you watch him versus the run, watch how he inserts. One of the telltale things too that I like about how Deshon plays the run versus, our other safeties. He knows when he's the unblocked defender. He knows when he's the defender that schematically an offense can't account for. And every defense has that player. Is usually the weak seam player, or in certain cases, the backside safety, because defenses are going to over or shift their alignment to the running strength or to the strength of the formation. When that safety comes down on the backside, he's usually the unaccounted for guy, and his man would traditionally be the quarterback, right? But the way Deshon plays it, he will walk all the way up into the gap and dang near treat it like a blitz, because he knows, hey, this is a run situation right here, and they can't block this. So I don't have to play this top down. I can go right up in here and get up out of here. And because certain situations is man-to-man coverage, he's like, yo, my coverage is right there anyways. So I'm just going to take my guy and go right to where my coverage is, which is leading me to the ball carrier. Those are some of the little things that Deshon brings to this defense. And it's the nuance, right? We're like, yo, you're still doing the same job as these other safeties, but because of your understanding of it and your just athleticism and body type, right? You are more physical, and your size that the 6'2", whatever, right? It's like that is packaged differently than our other safeties. So it does allot you the ability to shoot some of those gaps and make big tackles, knockback tackles, versus when we talk about some of the other guys in our secondary, when they make their tackles, it's like, yo, this is more of a even, or you kind of lost that one, but you got them down. And that's all that matters, right? Get them to the ground. To me, that's the part that I do like about what Deshon Elliott brings from a physicality standpoint. I think that that's important to our run defense. As much as we love ball hawks, as much as we love interceptions, if you only focus on the finesse element, the passing element, we've seen what it does to your rush defense. You got to have a physical dude that is willing to put his face in the fan, man, and is a short tackler, right? Not a guy that is 50-50 on that second level. Nah, 50-50 safeties, those 20, 30, 50-yard runs. We don't have time for that, man. But when you look at the way Deshon Elliott tackles, a knockback tackler, a fundamentally sound tackler, that is truly why he thrives the way that he thrives, and our defense responds the way it does when I'm being out there, man. So shout out to Deshon Elliott, and shout out to the fact that y'all were also appreciative of his hard work out there. All right. Like I said, definitely a fan of him, man. The other two dudes that I wanted to talk about also, man, before we get to some of the not so hot, right? Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen. Can I say that again? Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen. Oh, now I know. The LBs at one point were under fire as well. I think it was said that Peyton Wilson can't play because he's not physical enough against the run, and he can't cover as well either. You probably should have put him out. Just keep 55 out there the whole time. And shout out to my dog Cole Holcomb as well. And then we also remember, man, where Patrick Queen was under fire, right? Not good, not living up to expectations, doesn't run as fast, or it doesn't play as hard, takes plays off all these other things, etc. And it's like, man, you watch what both of them two dudes did. Wow. Do we win that game if those two guys are not playing the way that they played yesterday? Realistically, do we win that game? Because both of those dudes balled out. Peyton Wilson obviously has the play of the day, chasing Jordan Addison down, dropping that 20. You seen that 22 on the GPS. That big boy speed. He ain't messing around with you people. Not at all. Right? But you talk about every blade of grass matters. That's why. You talk about, man, we don't have time to decide. If you're on that field, you're playing 100%. Every single play to the echo of the whistle. It doesn't matter. That's why right there. So you watch Peyton Wilson go chase it down, but then I want you to watch what happens after that. Watch Patrick Queen, how he responds. TFL. Watch how the rest of the defense responds. Right? All of those plays, did they not matter at the end of the game when you're talking about time management, right? Imagine if, they score, if Jordan Addison scores, or they score that next play, right? The PQ tackle for loss play. It's like, yeah, they even have more time at the end of the game. But that ain't happened, right? And why didn't that happen? Because of those two dudes and how they were playing, man. I thought that both of those guys from start to finish were some of our most productive players. Shoot, when you talk about Patrick Queen, man, the way that this dude is playing against the run, I did the film session on him, right, for the lower room / general public, and for the upper room, right? Y'all got the extended version of it, right? And y'all saw him. Y'all was like, yo, bro, dude looking good, man. We were kind of overlooking some of this stuff. It's like, yeah, bro, he is doing a lot, right? But it's like, man, watch how many times this dude is downhill getting TFLs. That dude is not playing with these folk out here, man. He's on a mission this year, man. Dude look good. Shout out to PQ, man. Shout out to PQ. Because last year, we know that wasn't the case. Last year, it was some situations where early on, I was critical of his conditioning. I was critical of, man, it looked like you taking some plays, bro. Like, we got to be locked in. Now it's like, man, this dude, and we know he's hurt. We can still see his little rear protector. It's like, man, it don't matter. He's getting to the ball and he talking spicy out there. I love that. Need that, man. That feels black and gold. We talk about Steelers defense. That's what that's supposed to feel like. Smart, productive, but got a little edge on him. Got a little on. I ain't playing with you today. Oh, I love that. And then you look at Peyton Wilson. Peyton Wilson was under fire, right? He for sure was under fire because of the fullback bombing on him 2 weeks ago. It's like, all right, this ain't Seattle though. And we say it's week to week, matchup versus matchup. Yeah, the Vikings don't use that same type of approach. So, hey, man, you're going to get a chance to make some plays out here, and watch how he responded. Watch him. Downhill versus the run also, get some TFLs also. I thought this was one of his best games. But then to put that on tape, man, to go chase down Jordan Addison, that play right there had me jumping out my seat. I'm over here like, yo, what? You did what? You went and got that? You caught that? You caught him? Wow. That's a dog. That's an absolute dog. But those are the type of guys that we need on our defense. Those are the type of guys that are going to ultimately, help keep us being more consistent, especially when you're talking about that physical mentality, when you're talking about that they can't be better than us. No matter what the scenario is, we're going to come out here and we're going to find ways to get after them, man. We're going to find ways. I don't care how much grass we have to defend. If there is a blade of grass, that is all I need. I don't complain about where you tell me to get on the field as a defender. I just tell you, man, I'm going to make the stop. That's what I love about watching them dudes, man. PQ and Peyton Wilson, they for sure got that mindset. PQ for sure. Like you see him like verbally, like he's gonna show you. Peyton Wilson, he's quiet out there, but his actions let you know that he would whatever. And he believes he can make every play. Otherwise, he's not chasing Jordan Addison down. I'm just telling you firsthand experience. When you don't feel like you're capable of making that, you might run, but you're not running like that. You gotta really believe that you like that to go chase after Jordan Addison on that type of play right there, man. For sure. Because if you look at the tape, you start looking around, you're like, yo, people were running. You watch the people running, and then you watch that gas pedal kind of ease up. It's like, bro, I ain't got that one in me, and now I got to start planning for what's next. Peyton was like, I can make this. And we like, oh, you can really do this? Because, boy, if you blow the tank in the scores, it's like, God dang, man. But you watch out, my man's like, yo, I can get that. I know I can get that. And that's the beautiful thing, man. But that's what we need, man. Those are the type of guys that you need on the defense like this, man. And especially while you're going through some of the growing pains, some of the injuries, right? Some of the younger players that are going to be out there. You need those two dudes at the middle of your defense. And we say, if you have fast inside linebackers, you have a fast defense. If you got slow inside linebackers, your defense is slow, man. It's all inside out, man. How fast can they get sideline to sideline and make those plays? In the way that they're playing right now, that's exciting, man. So, y'all let me know how y'all felt about PQ and Peyton Wilson, man. Were y'all fans of what y'all was seeing from them boys, man? Or maybe it was just me, all right? Maybe it was just me. Hopefully it wasn't just me. Hopefully y'all was enjoying it as well. But let me know in the comment section, man. Because like I said, man, I need my LBs to be cooking the way they cooking. I'm like, yeah, buddy. Yeah, like that. Oh, shout out to Cookie Monster. My man say, yo, the way he closed the distance on Addison was bonkers. Yo, and let's be real. Jordan Addison isn't slow in the least bit. He got wheels. He fast. And it did not matter. Did not matter, man. Let's see. Oh, where are we at? Hey, Tito said, nah, big fan, Moats. Big fan. I'm telling you, man, the way that my man Peyton Wilson was out there, the way these LBs was out there playing around, I need to know, man, how y'all feeling about these LBs, all right? And I see some super chats coming in here as well, man. I'm for sure about to get to y'all, man. And you know I appreciate each and every one of y'all from the heart. But yeah, Mike Hood, you know that's what they say. Linebackers ain't supposed to do that. You know that's what they say. That's what they say. But it don't matter because Peyton Wilson ain't listening, all right? Him fast. He fast. But yeah, I like it, baby. I like it. But yeah, when you watch those dudes, man, the way that they've been playing, that type of production is what you need. And like I said, there's no surprise also with the way that the D linemen played and with the way those inside linebackers are playing, why we were so much better against the run this week. Now, granted, the flip side was this. Oh, before I get to the negative, right? I got a couple more positives. Then after that, we'll get to the negatives for sure. But in terms of a couple of other positives I want to talk about. So the same way I hollered about Arthur Smith, talked about Pat Meyer, Terrell Austin, and Mike Tomlin as well. And the reason is this, right? The reason I'm shouting them out for the past couple of weeks now. You know, it's even after victories, it's fire Mike Tomlin, right? Or it's still not good enough. And specifically watching how the commentary was around Brian Flores and this Vikings team following what they did to the Bengals, it was like, yo, man, why do we even let Brian Flores leave? Brian Flores should have got promoted to defensive coordinator over Terrell Austin, and was that 2020 or 2022 when we had a absolute crazy defense statistically and in stadium filling in down the stretch what they were able to do from a defense side of the ball. It was like, yo, we should have just, still put Flo above that, even though that's never happened in almost like the history of this thing. Still should have done that. Or, man, it's because Coach Tomlin is scared that, Flores is going to take his job because he's better than him. I'm like, bro, what? Huh? It's like, this Coach T we talking about. So as I'm watching this game, it's just like, man, for those two defensive coaches, right, Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin, to be the ones specifically that are viewed as inadequate, live in their fears, and we're going to talk about that for sure, right? It's like, man, it's refreshing to see that when we actually go the head-to-head route, and let's do Kevin O'Connell, because a lot of people, including myself, are fans of Kevin O'Connell. Some view what he does, as elite, and I think it is. I think he's one of the best out right now. But it's like, man, The Terrell Austin defense found ways to stymie that. The Terrell Austin defense found ways to create turnovers on that. The Terrell Austin defense found ways to create pressure on it, right? The Mike Tomlin defense found ways to create pressure. The Mike Tomlin defense found ways to create turnovers, right? Found ways to stop the run. Found ways that even though their receivers, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, statistically ended with productive days, they did not take over the game at all. Justin Jefferson in the first half, I thought they fed him a lot, and he should have had an opportunity to score, right? He slips down the grass, but hey, I know everybody was crucifying Coach Tomlin for not going to the stadium for a walk through to check your cleats. Oh my God, I have never seen so many people be so, enamored with a Saturday or day before the game walk through at the stadium. I'm like, bro, nobody goes to the stadium. If you want to check the cleats, man, you got 3 to 4. You can go to right the first place. You can get to the stadium 5 hours before kickoff. Man, you could try out 100 cleats if you want to. But because Coach Tomlin decided not to, it was like, oh, this is an indictment. So it's like, all right, let's just see. Our guys want the one sleeping. Justin Jefferson was the one slipping out there, right? But then it's like, yo, even with Jordan Addison, it took that last pass that he got caught by my man Peyton Wilson to even give him that explosive statistical day. So I'm like, yeah, man, if we critical of Coach T and Terrell Austin, and rightfully so on certain occasions, rightfully so, I'm like, hey, bro, we never trailed in this. If I remember, then in Vegas, Vegas for sure had us taking the L too, man. All right, Vegas, y'all ain't slick. 2.5. Some even had it at 3 at one point, right? In terms of us being 3-point underdogs. So not only that, but we got the dub. You know what I mean? You get the dub. And you never trailed at one point in this game. Heck, we could make a case that, shoot, it didn't have to be that close, right? Certain things getting called back, certain decisions. We're going to talk. But to me, it's like, dude, for all of the negative that was surrounding those two, it's like, hey, because what? The defense still wasn't playing up to our standard, right? Even when they won last week, we were like, yo, kind of opportunistic at times because we said, man, they still had, success running the ball, still had success throwing the ball. Drake may still look good. We're like, but we had the 5 turnovers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we figured that out. But this week was different. This week we had 5 turnovers. You had to legit play ball and play for 4 quarters because that's this level, 4 quarters. But that was good to see. It's like, yeah, baby. Yeah. So shout out to the coaching staff. Shout out to Coach Tomlin and Terrell Austin for having a plan, man, and make sure that the guys could understand it and could execute it. Now, did we have some blown calls? You know we did. Did we have some mess ups? You know we did. But who had the more critical ones? It looked like the Vikings did. So I would also just feel like, we won the coaching battle as well. So shout out to coaching, man. And that's what I said, man. To win the game, man, everybody has to do their job. Everybody has to have success in some capacity, man. So shout out to them dudes.